Introduction. What is Generation Z and Millennial? There has many different perspectives and definitions made by people from different sources. Some say that Gen Z are born between 1990 and 1995, and some say that those who are born on 1995 onward. While Millennial generation, also called as a Generation Y, is defined as those who are born between 1980 and 2000. In simple words, we can say that Gen Y in this year is currently between 24 to 39 years old, while Gen Z is the newest generation, which is currently between 8 to 23 years old. Other generation that have much involvement in agriculture is Generation X, those who are born between baby boomer and millennial generation. We can say that baby boomer and Gen X has more experience in plantation. From this case study, we want to highlight that the plantation industry cannot only depends on the baby boomer and Generation X for Malaysia, because this generation are getting older and they need more help from younger generation, and eventually this younger generation will take place from older generation in the agriculture sector. Next, I will move to the issue among Generation Z and Millennial in plantation. The first issue is regarding to the working environment, where the young generation believe that plantation sector contribute to the unattractive working environment. They believe that this sector full of burdensome and tiredness in terms of their activity. It is because plantation synonym with 3D, which involve dirty, where the worker exposed with the soil and fertilizer. Dangerous. As we know, in plantation, there are many dangerous species such as snake, and difficult, where the worker handle difficult activities such as harvesting and loading the heavy FFB. According to Malaysia Human Resource Statistic, normally young generation will choose manufacturing and retail industry as their main list for employment, and plantation sector as the third choice. Long working hour, exposed to weather, poor internet connection, and hazard to the health are the working environment that minimize the interesting young generation in plantation. Next issue is regarding to salary of labor. Generation Z and millennial low interest due to the minimized wage payment. They believe that working in plantation is burdens and low payment cannot fulfill their satisfactory life. No fixed wage and less set monthly income are the factor yield not interest in plantation. Moreover, the minimum monthly wage 1,200 are not suitable for all the energy and sweat disbursed in the heavy activity. The last issue is regarding to the low knowledge and skill. As we know, plantation involve the nature of work. Without the proper knowledge and skill, Gen Z and Millennial cannot handle the challenge issue like the problem solving of deforestation issue. Handling plantation is not easy and require many skills. Lack in critical thinking in identifying the weakness and strength of the alternative solution make them not interested in the plantation sector.
Next, challenge to overcome the issue on Millennium and Generation Z intervention in agriculture sector. The first main point is the Millennium or Generation Z mostly lack the comfort workplace environment. The problem in overcome this issue because they would like work in an environment where more suitable with their generation. As we know, the generation more use the technology in their daily life. So they used to work at a air conditioner environment more than exposure in the direct sunlight. Next, they also use a phone, tablet, and laptop in their daily life. So why not we encourage the use this technology to upgrade the plantation sector. Other than that, the agriculture sector is a tough sector that need a high mental and physical, may reduce the yield work in the sector because the relationship of employer and employee will influence this generation to work at the agriculture sector. Next, the agriculture sector is not the favorite choice. The other limitation to overcome this issue is the youth generation not take the plantation sector as their main target to work. Usually, the agriculture sector is last choice after the no optional to work at other sector after the manufactured or retail sector. Next, the position of estate far from the city also be the factor. They not too interested in the agriculture because they will stay in the estate area only. They will make the generation not interested to work at the plantation area because the area was separate with the other place. The third main point is migration of youth generation. As we see, the youth generation more likely to migrate to other states may become one of a challenge. This trend happen when the rural youth generation more likely to migrate to find a job at the other area rather work at the agriculture sector. This also include the farmer children not interested in agriculture sector anymore. In addition, the low economy in the rural area and the traditional agriculture sector made the youth take action to migrate at the other state to find a job. So they will maybe no successor to continue the agriculture sector in the rural area.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Iqbal bin Abdul Jazza and I will be presenting about the importance in plantation. The first importance is the Generation Z and Millennials have vast knowledge about technologies. Both of these generations has more knowledge regarding the technologies such as modern gadgets compared to the older generation in baby boomers and generation X. With such knowledge, these people could utilize their knowledge to be applied on the plantation operations so that the operation in plantation can be more smarter, efficient, and profitable. Next, they have the ability and skills to use modern gadgets and technologies for plantation purpose. For example, in plantation, they have created drones that can do many things such as the observation and spraying from the air. But most older generations did not apply this technique because they didn't have the skills to control the drones. So with the help from young generation, they can use the drones to make the plantation operation much easier. Also, the usage of artificial intelligence in plantation can make the work much easier, such as the use of AI in weather checking, soil checking and humidity, and temperature level checking. All of these things can be used by young generation in smartphone or other application. Next, it also can solve the problems of youth unemployment. Most young people have no job after they graduate or before they graduate. So the plantation is their job opportunities so that they can pursue their career in this plantation sector, and also the problem of unemployment among young people will be decreased. Next is improve life quality in rural areas. As we know, the life quality in rural areas is not better compared to those in city and urban areas. So, with the involvement of young people in plantation sector that is mostly located in rural areas, eventually the life quality in those areas will be increased. Okay, so next I will be presenting about the recommendations to attract youth in plantations. The first one is mass media exposure and extension service. A study has been made that shows that the mass media exposure and extension service in agriculture have give a great impact on young people to engage themselves in the agriculture sector. Most of the effective persuasion were made by the non-government organization in agriculture sectors, as they could effectively guide and counsel the young people to attract them into this sector. So, next is promotion via social medias. The social medias is a very good platform to promote job opportunities to young people, as we know that young people mostly spend their time on social media such as Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. The third one is application in education in school curricula. Education system in school curricula either primary school or high school, should include the studies about agriculture. The studies should include modules on farming activities from the process of growing into marketing, and it should focus on the main crops in our country. The last one is increase salary and wages of employees. So in my opinion, government should increase the minimum wages of plantation workers and the salary of higher ranked employees in the plantation. We know that the increasing minimum wages of workers in plantation will cause a great burden for the plantation as the cost will increases. But in other way, we can also say that the increasing salaries of workers in plantation will make the workers become more motivated and eventually will develop a better production for the plantation.
In conclusion, the government and private sector must be taken seriously to overcome this issue, because this generation will continue the successful of agriculture sector in Malaysia. The intervention on this generation will make the agriculture sector more interesting and moving forward. Hopefully, in future, more youth generation will attract to involve in agriculture sector.